Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story about a customer who just couldn't take no for an answer. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Drive me home from your store. Truck rental place. People come to our store and rent trucks. That's what we do. So what I'm saying is customers find a way to come here, rent a truck, drop it off later, and leave. Are you confused, shocked, or appalled by that? This guy was. He rents a basic pickup truck for a couple of days, then calls and extends the rental an extra day. And so far everything's going according to plan. Everyone's happy. On day 4 he calls and says, "Hey, can I keep it until the afternoon?" Quick check. Yeah, no problem. Great. And then just have someone available to give me a lift home when I come in? Sorry, what was that? I'm going to need a ride home after I drop it off? Well, we don't do that. Can't you just drive me home real quick? I'm only a 20-minute drive away. No, you arrange your own way to and from the store. Well, can you come to my place and pick up the truck? No, that's not something we do. No. The word no was used here several times as clearly as possible. I appreciate the above transcript might make the use of that word seem a bit subtle to some readers. I assure you it was not. We said no, is what I'm saying. No, sir. Well, what if... And he pauses. This is always a horrific moment in any customer interaction. What if means, let's go to Stupidsville. What if it won't start? Will you come get it then? Audible sigh. If it won't start, please call roadside assistance for a tow truck. Great, thanks. Click. But of course it doesn't pan out anywhere as simply as that. He calls roadside and talks to the dispatcher because, by an astounding coincidence, the truck apparently won't start now. But he says he needs a few hours before the tow truck arrives so he can drop off his kids at school. They go to school 50 miles away. He doesn't have a car, so 3 guesses what he uses to drive them there. That afternoon, the tow truck arrives, the driver turns the key, it starts immediately. There's nothing wrong with it. Huh, wow, well, would you look at that? Well, while you're here, can you tow it in for me? I can't charge the store for a tow, there's nothing wrong with it. But I don't have a ride home. Tow truck driver leaves, embarrassed for both of them. About 15 minutes later, the Central Customer Service call center calls us at the store. I have a guy on the line who says that we offered to cover his cab fare. No. Very much no. Damn it all to hell no. Tell him to drop it off, but we will not cover his cab fare. You think we're done? Nah, this was just a warm-up. Here comes the main event. Roadside assistance? Yeah, you guys were here earlier and the guy said the truck was okay, but there's a check engine light on. They pause, read the notes on this guy, and can tell exactly what's going on here. Sir, if the check engine light comes on, but it still starts, the tow truck driver will not tow it. Drive it back to the store. Well, can they give me a ride home after or pay my cab fare for the trouble? No. Well, I don't feel safe driving it. Roadside assistance can't help with your feelings. Click. He's late returning it now. Manager calls him. He asks us to come get the truck because he doesn't feel safe. We tell him no. No is what we tell him. And the telling to him was no. He finally shows up the next day. The extra time costs more than a taxi from the store to his home. Also, that check engine light is indeed lit, and it appears he did something to the air intake to get it. Depending on what the shop finds, there may be another fee. He demands cab fare. Again, we say no. He creates a scene before leaving in a huff because apparently he didn't see that coming at all. Roadside assistance can't help with your feelings. I hope this was truly said to him because this is absolute gold. And our second story. A male Karen at work. I work at a little crap hole of a store making $10 an hour and deal with jerks all day. It's located in a trashy part of town with a lot of homeless and entitled people. Honestly, if not for the customers, it wouldn't be a bad place to work at. So I just get on shift with one of my supervisors and manager when this one guy walks in and immediately has an attitude. He's short, fat, and missing his front teeth. It was just me at the front, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Is your manager here? Go get them." Now, I didn't know which one he was referring to, as a lot of times customers would refer to my supervisors as my managers, and I explained that to him, hoping he would clarify who he was looking for. I also didn't want to get my manager as, crappy part of town, and some of the customers are creeps, like 50-year-old men who hit on my 20-something coworkers. So I asked him if he needs help with anything to figure out why he was looking for my manager. He doesn't say and just snaps, "Go get your damn manager." I just shrug and grab the both of them to deal with them, and this is where I learn why he was there. The guy claimed he was here the night before and had slipped on the wet floor, which I believed at first because I was working the night before and do remember checking him out, and the floor was wet as I mop every night. I normally wait an hour before closing to mop, hitting areas that I know don't get much foot traffic first and then finishing the more busier areas after closing, like the main entrance. But this one night was super busy, and after mopping one aisle, a line of customers waltz up to the counter, and I got busy dealing with them that I forgot to put up wet floor signs. My bad, I know, and I did get written up because of it, so it was completely possible he did slip and fall. However, as he talked more and the interaction drew on, it slowly got more and more apparent that he was, to put it frankly, talking out his butt. For starters, he said he slipped and fell in aisle X and knocked over a whole shelf of things. Aisle X happened to be right next to the counter where I was. It also happened to be an aisle for car parts, sprays, flashlights, that kind of thing. So all the stuff he could have knocked over were heavy, loud things, yet me and my supervisor, same dude who was working right now, didn't hear anything. He also claimed he told the cashier at the time, aka me, what had happened. Spoilers, he didn't. All he did was buy his Dr. Pepper and left. He also then claimed he had a recording of him falling and of my supervisor, the same one who was working that night, admitting to seeing him fall. This pissed my supervisor off, as now the guy was straight up lying about him and didn't miss a beat in calling him out. The guy got louder, now almost shouting that he knew who our district manager was and that his uncle was a lawyer. I'm not even joking. And that he had a case. The two traded words, my supervisor keeping his cool and just repeating that he never said anything and that he didn't see it happen, while the guy repeated he was going to get him fired and how I was just going to file a complaint, but now I'm going to sue you. He made it clear. He was going to sue both the company and my supervisor for his attitude. It was clear that the guy was just trying to goat my supervisor into a fight so he could claim we were being hostile. Luckily, my manager got my supervisor to leave and pretty much separated the two. I stuck around, though, because he wasn't calming down and I wasn't going to leave him alone with my manager. Eventually, my manager gets on the phone to file a complaint for him, refused to do so himself, and she asked for his name, which was required for filing a complaint. And because he just threatened legal action against us, he refused to give her his name. She asked for his phone number so they can call him regarding questions. He refused to tell her. She asked for a detailed account either through email or letter so our HR knows what happened. He refused that too. He pretty much just refused to give us anything that could be tied to him. My manager just hands him a list of corporate contacts and he leaves after once again shouting he was going to sue and get all three of us fired. I get fairly written up and now we're having a store meeting. I don't know if it's tied to this incident or not. My manager did later admit there was nothing on the camera. My supervisor and I chatted about it, and I made it very clear that he came in looking for a fight, and a lot of his story didn't make a whole lot of sense. He marched in, cussed at me, and ended up shouting so loud that he actually scared off a customer. Sounds like one of your supervisors should have been taking care of that line of customers, or sending someone else to do it, so you could focus on mopping. And our last story. Neighboring farmer refusing to stop using water. My husband and I recently built our dream house on a former farm in Scotland, but we've run into an issue with Scottish water. We applied to have our water usage changed from commercial to domestic rates, only to be told it wasn't possible. The reason? Our water supply line also services 2 animal troughs on the land of our neighbor, Farmer Andy, before it reaches our house. Because of this, Scottish Water refuses to change our rate, saying it's still classified as commercial use. We were eager to fix the issue, so we reached out to Farmer Andy to ask if we could either disconnect the troughs or install a separate pipe for them. His response, complete refusal. Andy insisted he had a right to the water. He claimed that the person he bought his fields from, Farmer Bob, had promised him free water for the troughs and that there was nothing we could do about it. When we met him in person to discuss this, the conversation quickly turned tense. Me. Andy, we need to sort out this water situation. Scottish Water won't move us to the domestic rates unless the troughs are disconnected from the line. Andy, it's my water too. Farmer Bob promised me I'd always have it. I'm not changing anything. Me. But that arrangement was never written in the title deeds. Legally, we own the land and the water connection. You need to figure out another option. Andy, you're messing with years of how things have been done around here. I'm not moving those troughs. You can forget about it. We left frustrated, but decided to hire a solicitor to investigate the situation. After reviewing all the property deeds and land titles, it became very clear there was absolutely no legal agreement allowing Andy to use our water line. The free water, he claimed, was a verbal promise that had no standing in court. We gave Andy one last chance to resolve the issue peacefully. Me. Andy, we've consulted a solicitor. You don't have a legal right to that water. We're giving you a formal notice. Either remove the troughs or install your own water line, or we'll have to take further action. Andy, I'll see you in court before I let you cut off my water. It was clear Andy wouldn't back down, so we pursued legal action. The court quickly ruled in our favor. Andy's claim had no legal merit, and the judge ordered him to either pay for a separate water line or stop using our connection entirely. Update. After the court ruling, Andy reluctantly removed the troughs from our water line. He tried to drag it out, but when faced with legal fees and fines, he had no choice. Scottish Water finally reclassified our usage to domestic rates, cutting our water bills by more than half. It wasn't an easy process, but in the end, we got exactly what we wanted. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.